Hello and welcome to the Diplomat. South Korea President Moon Jae-in has been on his 9-day tour of Europe from October 13 to discuss bilateral cooperation and peace on the Korean Peninsula. The last leg of his trip will be Denmark, which is a world-leading country of renewable energy and green growth, where President Moon Jae-in will speak on Korea's efforts on eco-friendly growth. Therefore, today on The Diplomat, we are going to invite Danish Ambassador to Korea, Thomas LEHMANN, to discuss two countries' cooperation related to green growth and also learn more about the long-standing relationship dating 6 decades. Hello, Ambassador. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. So the Embassy of Denmark in Seoul relocated 46 years after its opening. Do you like the embassy?
Well, I love my embassy. Not only do I love this new place, I love my staff. And I'm very proud of this new embassy. It's a completely new expression. And it's a new working environment for us and for the staff. So we have embraced this new place, and I think it's created and given us a lot of new energy and a lot of great spirit to continue working for Denmark in this great nation of Korea.
What was the reason behind the relocation?
Well, there are many reasons, but I think the most important reason is that we have become extremely successful here in Korea over many, many years, meaning that we have increased our activities. More and more trade is taking place between Denmark and Korea, more and more exchanges, much more government to government and business, people to people exchanges. And all of that, we have also, over the years, hired more staff. And we came to a point where we simply needed more space. And so that was a natural way for us to look for a new office space, and we came here, and we are extremely happy at this new place.
I see. I heard that recently there was an opening ceremony here in the embassy. So shall we take a look at that moment together?
Let's do that. Thank you.
Denmark established diplomatic relations with Korea in 1959 and opened an embassy in Seoul's Yongsan-gu district in 1972. After 46 years in the same place, the Danish embassy has moved to Seoul Square, where many other embassies are also located. On the 20th of September, a special event took place to mark the opening of the new Danish embassy. In his welcoming address, Ambassador LEHMANN said the relocation was necessary to expand Denmark's cooperation with Korea, and he shared his vision for the future.
Thank you very much, ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very warm welcome to this new Danish house in the middle of Seoul. So we are very proud of what we have achieved, and I think we are here with this new embassy starting a new era for Denmark in Korea, working with all of you, working with many more, and setting new standards for what we can achieve together.
Designed by a Danish architect chosen by Denmark's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the new embassy is the quintessence of Danish design. Also, it highlights many of the core values of Danish culture, including practicality, openness, and transparency. It's a little Denmark in Seoul.
Well, the interior is very much the story of Denmark. This is what we have wanted to create here. The symbol of openness, transparency, a very welcoming space that we have created. This is also the values that we built on in Denmark. So this is also how we will work, in an open, transparent, and in a welcoming way. Then we have created the interior design in a functional way, in a simplistic way, and in a way that, you know, goes hand in hand with the Danish design tradition.
The opening celebration was attended by about 40 diplomats in Korea, including the ambassadors of Finland, Norway, and the EU delegation, who wished for the new office's success.
Well, I have a warm welcome to our Danish friends. They have moved in, they have joined us on the same floor, which indicates already that the European Union and its member states, like Denmark, we are not only on the same page, we are on the same floor.
I was very impressed coming here. Open, bright, light, and so beautiful and practical at the same time. So I was very impressed coming here.
Though thousands of miles apart, Korea and Denmark enjoy a strong friendship based on trust and mutual understanding, and they share a similar, innovative approach to the challenges of our time. With next year marking 60 years of diplomatic relations, the two countries will continue to work together and change the world for the better.
So the new embassy looks so sleek and modern, and I feel like it is furnished with Danish design. What are some core aspects of your design?
Well, everything here, as you rightly mentioned, is from Denmark. All our furniture, the design, the layout. We have tried to create, you know, a very Danish office environment. We have an open office space, but with that we also want to signal that we are an open and transparent and hardworking embassy. And for that we have equipped ourselves with great functional Danish design. And the key thing in Danish design is that it is functional. But also you mentioned sleek lines. Right. It's also very simple. So Danish design is simple, it's functional, it's great to look at, and it's also high quality. That's very much part of our DNA in Denmark. We are very good at design.
Not only very famous for beautiful design, also Denmark is known to have the best work-life balance in Europe, with an average satisfaction score 9 out of 10. Since you lived here in Korea for 4 years, do you feel the difference between two countries?
Yes, there's a difference. In Denmark, we also work hard. We work very efficiently. We have a working hour week of 37 hours on average. But we are very efficient within these 37 hours. We have holidays of 5 weeks per year. So it creates this work-life balance where people can spend time outside of office, outside of work, with family and friends. And I think that's part of the success story of Denmark. People need to also do things outside of their work and office. And Korea is on that way. Recently you reduced your mandatory working hours to 52.
Right.
So that is part, I know, of a very specific strategy of this government to improve the work-life balance of Korea. And if Denmark can serve as an inspiration, we'll be very happy to do so. We have a long experience of a good work-life balance, as you say, but also of combining work with time off and having the importance of spending holidays to recharge your batteries. I think that's really one of the core things of holidays. You get away out of your working environment, you recharge, you come back to your workplace, and you're full of energy and ready to move on.
Right. Denmark provides its citizens with a very strong social safety net, which is often seen as the reason behind the country's high happiness and life satisfaction levels. Can you tell us about some of the examples or more elaboration on that?
No, but first of all, I agree with you that our welfare system, which is a very core part of the society of Denmark, very much is part of the whole story of unhappiness. And basically the idea is that the more security you have, the less worry you have to be as a person. Right. And in Denmark we have free education, we have free healthcare service, we have a relatively high level of unemployment benefit, we have a very good pension system. So as a parent, as a person, as an older person, you don't have to be worried. You don't have to worry about sending your kids to school and the expenses for that. You don't have to worry if you get ill or unemployed or even when you turn old and retire from the labor market. So this security system is there to help. And I think also it has the effect of people being less stressful. And if you are less stressful, you will also tend to be more happy. Right. So our welfare system very much plays an important part in the story of Danish happiness.
But I feel like the safety net, a strong safety net, doesn't come from free. It costs high tax.
And that is no secret. In Denmark, we have quite high tax. On average, around half of your income goes to tax. On top of that, you also pay VAT, 25% on goods. So yes, we are highly taxed, and all of that goes to financing of a very generous welfare system. But if you ask the man or the woman in the street of Denmark, are you happy paying tax? You will generally get the answer, yes. Because you know what you get back, that you get the tax pays for a good welfare system that helps everyone in our society, regardless of your background. So Denmark is also a very equal society. It's a society based on solidarity, equality, equality for all. And that is the core values that our welfare system is based on, and that is supported by everyone in Denmark.
Right. The concept of universal welfare has yet to be spread in Korea, but Denmark serves as an admirable model of an effective welfare state. What do you think needs to be done here for Korea to join the ranks?
Well, I think Korea is already doing many things, and within the things that are part of your society, within the things that are part of your culture. Countries are not equal or the same. We have different traditions, different backgrounds, and so on. So even though Denmark is a highly regarded welfare state, I know Korea also has ambition to become a welfare state. And there are many ways you can do it. But I think one area where you can get inspiration from a country like Denmark in Korea is, for example, when it comes to childcare, child benefits. There is an important policy debate going on in Korea about the low birth rate. Many things can be done. There's no easy solutions. But of course, to create the right incentives for families, for women, to have children, I think is also important in the decision of a family to have children. So in Denmark, we have a highly generous child benefit system. We also practice generous paternity and maternity leave schemes for mothers and fathers when they have kids. And especially we emphasize the importance of fathers to take leave, to be with their children. And that our system is opening up for. So that's just some examples of, I think, where you can get inspiration from other countries. There are no, as I said, easy copy-paste solutions here. But if Denmark can serve as an inspiration, as a welfare state to Korea, we are very happy to do so and to learn and to share our experiences.
Let's switch our topic. As Danish ambassador to both South and North Korea, what do you think about all of these positive changes on the Korean Peninsula?
Well, it is, and I think everyone will recognize that it is an extremely positive development. And we need to be very happy about it. We need to keep our fingers crossed that this will continue. That peace and stability will come to this part of the world, that the Korean Peninsula will be free from conflict and tension. And I think we need to give a lot of credit to your president for his hard work in order to drive this diplomacy, not only to improve inter-Korean relations that has come through now 3 summit meetings, but also to pave the way for the first US-North Korea summit meeting and to start a dialogue on the denuclearization of North Korea, which is so important.
Diplomatic relations between Korea and Denmark officially began in 1959.
Yes.
However, I heard our initial cooperation dates back to the Korean War. Can you tell us about that?
Actually, it dates back much further back in history, actually from 1902.
1902?
Yeah, when Denmark signed a friendship and trade agreement with Korea, with the unified Korea at that time. Then came the Korean War and the partition and so on, and then there was a new situation. And we established diplomatic relations with the Republic of Korea in 1959.
I see.
And next year, 2019, we will celebrate the 60 years anniversary of our two countries' relations. So that's a very important part. But Denmark was very active during the Korean War. We came to the aid of the Korean nation with a hospital ship called Jutlandia. And that ship, the doctors and nurses on that ship treated not only wounded soldiers, but also the civilian population. So a very important humanitarian contribution. And what is interesting about that story is also that the nurses and doctors on that ship, they remained in Korea after the war. So after 1953, they stayed in Seoul and they helped establish what is still today the National Medical Center. So on the hospital humanitarian side, Denmark and Korea has a very long and strong relation.
I see. Our President Moon Jae-in will be visiting Denmark on the 20th of this month to attend the global P4G summit and share the Korean government's efforts there. What is P4G exactly, and what's the purpose of P4G?
First, say that we are very honored, very proud to have President Moon Jae-in travel to Denmark as part of his European trip, to take part in what is a new partnership created not only by Denmark and Korea, but also other nations. And P4G stands for Partnering for Green Growth and the Global Goals.
Oh, I see.
And the whole idea with this partnership is to seek and to take concrete steps from the public sector and from the private sector in new partnerships to deliver concretely on the Paris Climate Agreement and the United Nations Sustainable Goals. These are the two major international agreements of where we want this globe and this planet to move in a sustainable way. So how do you achieve the ambitions in the Paris Agreement? How do you achieve the goals in the United Nations Sustainable Goals? Well, there are many ways, but one thing is clear: you cannot do it on your own, only one country. You need to do it in partnership, and that's why the P4G Summit, where we bring together not only governments, organizations, institutions, but also very much the private sector, to join hands and to seek these crucial public-private partnerships to drive the transition to low-carbon societies and to drive the ambitions to live up to the Paris Climate Agreement so that we can create a better planet for the future.
Korea and Denmark established a 5-year action plan to take their relationship to the next level. Yes. What it is about and what has the progress done?
Well, this action plan was signed exactly 2 years ago. I'm very happy to report that we have made very steady progress. We are working in many areas, not only within climate, energy and green growth, but also within agriculture, within social issues, within health care issues, within defense, within maritime sector. Denmark, Korea, both being great shipping nations, we have a lot we can learn and share with each other. So all kind of areas are we working together. And especially going forward, I think I want to highlight one area, which is culture. Because in 2019, Denmark, Korea will celebrate our 60th anniversary, and that anniversary has been dedicated to a year of culture. So this is where we will experience, not only in Denmark, but also in Korea, a lot of cultural activities and exchanges.
I see. Speaking of our 60th anniversary, what kinds of preparation are being made for this big event?
The cultural year will be a beautiful manifestation of what Korea and Denmark has to offer within the cultural scene, and it will be highly attractive to both our peoples. But it's also an opportunity for cultural institutions, artists, to really create long-lasting relations, so that what we set in motion next year will not only be a showcase and a big bang in 2019, but will something that will keep going, and so we can continue to have a lot of cultural exchanges and cultural activities in both countries going forward.
So we are planting seeds for the future.
Definitely, and that is important because seeds take time, but when they grow, it's beautiful to watch, and so we are very, very happy with the huge interest that has been that we have seen from institutions in both countries.
Ambassador, before we wrap up our interview, can you please share your vision to even further intensify our relationships?
Well, I think we have come very, very far already in Danish-Korean relations through our strategic partnership. But of course, there's so much more we can do. And looking into the future with not only the technological development that is happening, the whole digitalization of our society, I think this is an area where Denmark, Korea can do a lot more together. We are both occupied by how do we meet the challenges of what is called the fourth industrial revolution. That's important, not only for our businesses, but also for how we structure our labor market. So that is one area. Another area, I think, is within healthcare. We both faced with aging populations. We want to seek ways to improve not only the livelihood and the quality of patients that turn sick and ill, but also to explore a way of how we can research and develop and be innovative together in our healthcare system. So there are many areas where we are going to work even more together. So I see a bright future ahead for Korea-Danish relations.
Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.